Look. Before the shit gets real, nigga, hold up. Yeah, you know the deal, go and roll up. I'm catching the vibe, I'm trying to get right before we let these meathead niggas know some. Twisted's unapologetic, yeah. Verbally unsympathetic, yeah. Exposing algorithms and assholes up until they roll the credits. Damn. So go and reach your horoscope, my nigga. You're dealing with a Scorpio, my nigga. See the shit for what it is, like a dung beetle with a telescope, my nigga. She's a mad scientist, magnifying all of your videos and posts. Go bigger, searching for the silver lining, but we can't find it, losing all our hope. Go figure. That's why we smoke hella dope. Yeah. How the hell else are we gonna cope? Yeah. Time to roll up and smoke. Gotta get right before the show. Hey. First of a line, you'll never know. Yeah. Gotta subscribe, then here we go. Yeah. So fuck a receipt, Tibik loves for the free. You already know.
Vigilasi. Well, Alan. What's goody? Can you see me? I'm sorry I'm late, y'all. I had to get some things squared away. Oh, share with you some of my lineage. Those of you that joined me my last live, we spoke a little about this, how, you know, they went about the civilization process. Let me give you, there I am. Yay. So, I wanted to share that with you. If you hold on 1 second. So what I'm going to show you guys is actually we don't need the reverb. Okay, so what we're looking at is my maternal grandmother, her father. And so I wanted those of you that are trying to go back and track your lineage, this might be an outlet for you. I got this directly from the website. The Canadian, in my experience, the Canadian government, they tend to, especially when it comes to like the military, they kind of make it an easier access for the Aboriginal Indigenous people. So I do want to make note. I wanted to show you how some of the inconsistencies, how they documented some of the things. And of course, I told you guys this isn't the full document, in which I have the hard copy coming. Let's see if we can. Let me. No. Sons upon. Can you guys see that? Enlarge it. Oh. We'll just go like that. Okay. So, and let's be clear, I'm not even quite sure how he ended up with this name. I do have a picture of him somewhere in a frame, and I don't know where I put it. But okay, so next of kin here, it says Susan Capelin LaRock. So I've researched her, and it kind of goes cold turkey thus far. I haven't really done much digging. But if you look how they just marked all over this stuff. I don't know. It's just, it seems sketchy. And I don't remember all of this marking the first time I went over these documents. And so you can see, like, this is 1916, guys. I know he didn't write this. See, look how they just marked. I don't know. This is some of the stuff that I just didn't quite understand, you know, how they could just do official documents the way they did. So, but look here. In some places, that says copper. You see that? Copper. He had a vaccination mark, smallpox. And I'll show you where this is too. Campbellton, New Brunswick. I'm going to show you how they did this. And remember, I told you guys in my last live, pay attention to the names and how they did things. How they name the places. And it'll kind of show you in which, you know, how they do things. And they're still doing it to this day, guys. I mean, if you look at some of the land masses close to Antarctica, it makes you wonder. See here, it says France. Left hip. He had gun wounds. Like, this shit is just amazing. Yeah, this is his discharge paperwork. His attestation. I always say it wrong. And this is right online. Like, this is public knowledge. This part, like this much, I got the extensive one coming. See here, it says Emily Barnaby. I know I'm related to the Barnabys and my tribe in Canada, but I never got in depth of why. And I'm suspecting that my grandmother and her sister had separate fathers. Yeah, see? Sakara, leave the cat alone. He served in Canada, England, and France. He wasn't fit for service. Be like, yo, he was dark as hell. Our ancestors were very dark. So this is how they spelled it back then. Ristagush. But now you'll see the tribe. It says Listagush with an L. Two blue service chevrons and two wound stripes. So I take it that was a tattoo, right? He was a rebel. Rebel. So yeah. So if you know that you have any of your family members that were part of you know, these infantries within the Canadian military back then, this is one avenue. Look at that, yo. I can't believe this stuff is just like, it was just there, sitting, waiting. This is amazing. Yo, the only thing is too, is I couldn't find his blood type. That's not listed in here at all thus far. That's something I did notice. She's. I just got a thing. So through this document, there was like several places. His date of birth was different. His mom was listed different. His sometimes the mom was listed where the wife was. It was just it's. So I don't know. And I know on this other document, one of the people that were examining him had stated that he didn't speak his language. Exactly, Waylo. That's what I was thinking. But it's almost like, they just wanted to make sure they can get what they. I don't know. Maybe why would they need to know their blood type? Really? Were they going to try to save him? Probably not. You feel me? Like, they were probably looking at our people. They were disposable. And it's so funny. We're looking at this like 18 as though 2018. And really, that was 1918, guys. I don't know. I thought it was weird altogether, really. And again, maybe it'll be in the full documentation. Maybe it won't. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Like this is crazy. Look, it tells like his money was at $20 a week, a month, of what? A month? Damn. Look, and this was on my birthday, yo. Look, making a false statement to an NCO. Himself from extra drill parade. Yeah, my great granddaddy was a rebel, yo. Yeah, yeah. He was in one. It was World War I, right? Going into World War I. I pulled it up because it's the infantry dissolved into the big war. No, it wasn't. Was it 132nd? I looked it up. 1916. Yeah, okay. It's been a while too. He was making that big money. See, like Susan Capelin is listed here. Is that captain? Okay, yeah. So I don't know who Emily Barnaby was. My grandmother's birth certificate, it just it's really not even a birth certificate. It's because the church is burnt down, so like they had to they redid like these they redid everything like what they could, I guess. It's weird. I don't know. I think I gotta go across there and do some more digging. And hopefully I'll be able to do that. Eventually, we do want to take Indigen TV on the road so we can actually go to different sites and show our people, because like the reality of it is, whether you want to go as far back as your maternal your mother or your grandmother, your great grandmother, everybody is indigenous to this land. Whether I don't care if you want to identify as African, but at the end of the day, you still got indigenous roots. And if it's important to you for your children, I would at least try to put together a family tree and some documentation, regardless of whether you're going to actually assign yourself to a tribe. At least know your history, because as you can tell, I'm 40 years old, and in 40 years I've seen the narrative change a few times, and they're still trying. Yeah, let me show you something. Is it in here? No. Show you the shit that I see all the time. Where did I see it? Oh, it's this dude. I don't know. Somebody turned me on to this dude, so I really don't. I don't know this person. I don't know, what they trying to push. I just came across this video, and I didn't seen this dude before.
They still got Moors trying to be Indians. I'm not wearing this as an Indian. You know what I'm saying?
Can y'all hear that?
Indians didn't wear this. This is not what Indians wore. These were Moors who were called Indians after a certain time wore. And those people started calling them Indians were the French. That's only because they started calling the Moors Frenchmen after they started calling them Spaniards. Because the true basis of the empire was now being broken apart, and you had different factions now, the Moorish children, who were now coming in to rebel against their parents, and they now want to set up duchies and things like that. That's when you got His Catholic Majesty, George III and George II and them, and Charles V and the rest of these people. They all came out of the Moorish Empire, because that was what was rocking since the Crusades, buddy.
Okay, let me tell you what the problem with this is. The problem of this is one, this isn't even our traditional headgear. I don't even know where this cat got this. And he says the New England. Well, that's me. That's my people. This is not our traditional headwear. Do you understand? Like, these people, they try to fit these narratives because they want to belong to something instead of just following the truth. Don't fall into this shit. And the reality of it is, this nigga was rocking a fucking, what do you call those things? Those little fucking cup hat thingies. You know what I'm talking about. The fezzes. He had a fez on like fucking 2-3 years ago. Now he's walking around with a headdress. Do you understand? Like, these people will exploit you off emotions. And in reality, the Moors, they knew the indigenous over here. They did trading. We traded all the time with them. But they were also used to infiltrate us and sell us. Slavery was in reverse, guys. Do you know what it takes for a fucking ship to get from Africa to here? And you think they did that? Come on now. These people is crazy. And I got more background on my paternal side, so don't get it twisted. But right is right and wrong is wrong. And that's the reality of it all. We were already here. We already were established. You know, this shit is irking me because they do this to just create chaos. Let me show you. Now, let me show you what they did. Now, you can go look up this video here. Or I might put a link down below. But this is, remember, Africville, Nova Scotia, Canada. And you're going to hear people talk in this video, but understand that they did a collective. They had slaves from everywhere, and they kind of assimilated them into these native communities. And so you'll see in this video, there's going to be a clip where the woman says, I'll look it up here, but you know, you're going to see things when you look them up. Like year 2000, this dude here. Now this guy is probably native. I don't know. And his brother is native. Like Micmac. And maybe they came from the part where they, from, because this Africville's kind of out west, more out west than New Brunswick. But you're gonna see all types of people like this, like that black guy that you just seen, the elder. They were all from the same place, so you can see that they kind of put them all together. I think I was looking at, if you look, these are, I thought this was funny. Can y'all see that? Let me make it bigger. I thought that was funny. It says Rothschilds. This is the tip in Antarctica, because I was kind of trying to look at the land and look at the names. And that's what I was saying. Look at the names of these places. And it'll tell you. It'll give you the story right in the names. And if you take a stab at it, pull out some of these people's names and look at it, you can see what happened. And they're doing it from the south. They do it in rotations. Like Africville, there was a whole generation that they didn't know how they got there. Of, Haitians and Jamaicans and so forth. And they tell you stories of how they got kidnapped and brought there. But they were kidnapping people from all different places. Like, it was a clusterfuck. They had everybody turned around, and they knew that. I went to go look, and it's funny because I don't know who updated this Wikipedia, because they don't even have our government officials or nothing on there. But this is my tribe. A rustic band in Micmac. And I'll show you. Now this is my tribe in Canada. And we're all over. They're getting lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. They just got a settlement, so they'll probably be building up. The British government, they did a land settlement here. That was something my mom was really big into pushing on the state side. Like, she worked with the government on that side to work with the members on this side. So if you're a part of the Micmac tribe on state side, and it's not even worth pulling up their website. They didn't even launch and publish the new website I did for them. They're so hateful. But anyway, this tribe here, if you're a member of this tribe here, which is the only stateside Micmac tribe, you are a part. You got to be registered over in Canada somewhere. Your lineage has to start in Canada somewhere. Because, again, remember, that border that they put up between Canada and the States, that's their border. So they cut us off. Now, let me show you what our land traditionally was. I didn't put the little thingy in there. Well, I guess it'll show it. I don't know if it'll show it in here. But yeah, so this was all of our land here. And I don't know why it's not giving you United States. Let me see. This is our traditional fucking. Did that look like that headgear? No. What is that man talking about? What is that man talking about? We don't have. Do you see all those feathers? You see what I'm saying? They making a mockery of my shit, and that shit irritates me. This is as close as you'll get. And we do have. They just genetically redid some. I guess we do have markers with the Roman gypsies. So I'll figure that out. I'm trying to get a hold of this guy that I thought was crazy. Apparently, but he knew some shit, and I wrote him off, and I feel bad. So I'm trying to get a hold of him. Oh, here we go. You see? You see? Now don't get it twisted. The Abenaki, the Algonquin, all of that. That's all of us, yo. You can go to tribes, the Catawba tribes, all down the, like, hold on, let me see. No, that's not the USET I was looking for. Sorry. Where did they put the board? Right here. Here you go. These are your federally recognized tribes that are a part of USET. This is your Catawbas, and they have other branches of Catawbas. They have a whole branch closer to Michigan too. Let's see. Ain't got no pictures and no photos. Oh, well, you can't really see that. Oh, that sucks. I thought they'd have some fucking. I'm sure you can find some on Google. I didn't think of that, I guess. Google. Doesn't everybody Google? Something like that. Something like that. Now, of course, over the years, too. God damn, I want to see the people. I mean, the houses. Now, over time, don't get me wrong. Like, we've mingled thus far, but traditionally, we were dark anyway. Come on now. I don't know why these people got you, like, everybody tripping. These are dark people. They all don't look like Dances with Wolves. We've mingled, yeah. But traditionally, we were, darker people. Look at it. The headdresses are different. Too. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't fake it. If you come from your roots, it's gonna resonate with you and it's gonna make sense. Look at it. Look at that guy. They look like Jerome, right? one of your teachers growing up from back home. I know they could fit in mine. And there's other tribes that are not federally recognized that are state recognized. Several in Virginia. The Lenape tribe, you don't hear nothing really about them. They've dwindled around. They've dwindled away. A lot of your elders. So what happened was when they established DC, Pennsylvania, and Philly, all of that, a lot of the tribes broke up and moved away to the cities. Now this is way after, they done enslaved us and everything. Now they put together that capitalistic matrix. They started doing the government and all of that, which they took the whole setup from us. But there was no work. So, the people migrated closer to the city. So, like, a lot of the Lenape went to Philly, went to the city. A lot of them got moved around. They were it was horrible. If you look up the history, you'll see there's no way in hell they brought all of us over on no slave ship, guys. And most of us got family members who used to be like, yo, we got Indian in our family. You used to laugh it off, but there's some truth to it. And don't let them, this is the thing, don't let them push you into identifying to something that doesn't apply. If you're my age, you're going to remember when the whole African American came up. And that was a big deal because a lot of people didn't agree with that. Now, I grew up in the DMV, so maybe when I say a lot of people didn't agree, that's because the adults in that area were talking about it and they were upset. Not everybody wanted to identify as African American. It went through. Correct me if I'm not wrong, but wasn't that around the time when what's the dude who got beat up by the police, y'all? Johnny Cochran. What was homie? All of that was popping. I remember that as a kid. I remember that. I remember my grandma, everyone talking about it. So again, even if you're not even going to pursue getting into a tribe, definitely just do it for the sake of your children knowing their lineage for sure. So nobody can take that from you. There's so many people that see, now look, Mary Kaplan. So his mother's name was Mary? Because if that was the case, that was my grandma. I don't know. See, they took the kids, put them in residential schools and shit, and they all named them Mary or Paul. They named them after these Catholic, gave them these Catholic names. So it's hard to say because the names have changed the way that they put them. So what little bit I do know, you damn sure I'm going to document it and keep it for my kids. Regardless of even if my kids have been moved away from our lands, and that, at least they can tell their children what's popping. And, there's other people on YouTube, on the social media groups, that I'm seeing, and I've offered help to them, and I've given help to many of them. Yeah, look at this. There was a variety of people, yo. We had to mingle. We were all different shades. Like that's what they don't tell ya. Maybe it's my other one. I got 2 different accounts on YouTube, guys, in case you didn't know. I'm everywhere. This is He's a good page to follow because they're going through their own lineage and it can help you. So where's your family? Where are you originally from? And I can tell you what tribes are in that area. Because no, and we're and I, if you follow this page,
Stop listening to these niggas, bro.
I'm sorry. The American Indian Council, that's the page, another page that I would go to. Like, look, he's showing deeds. His grandmother, that's his land. Choctaw Nation. And don't get it twisted. Colorism is not just in the black, and I'm doing that in quotations, guys. Okay? Look, I'm dead ass. The darker ones got pushed away, got ripped. Indiana. Okay, so let's go back. Whoa. Did I spell that? Oh, here we go. Let's see what's it saying. Okay, Indians of Indiana. So I know the Chippewa has several bands in that Michigan area. Indiana, where my family from, born in California. So where would your native roots be from? Indiana? Because you got the Potawatomis. Seneca's like more the Florida area now. Okay. So you could have roots. Well, if it's the Delaware tribes, like you could probably forget it because I don't even think they're organized that much. But I'm betting you have some probably some Shawnee in you for sure. See, Alabama has some federally recognized tribe. What is it? Oh shit, they got that casino. And see, I even got roots in New Orleans, but that's because they were taking us from Canada and pushing us out, especially when they kicked the French out. They took a bunch of the slaves and brought them. They would just cycle them around. So we have Micmacs that have been registered in Louisiana. The Tunica is there. They tend to be like the Tunica Biloxi. They have. I think they're in Mississippi though, if I remember. Or no, they're in Louisiana. They have a casino. So what I would do is find out where your mother, because 9 times out of 10, I don't care what they tell you in religion, it's maternal roots that really matter. So find out where your roots would come from. So if it came from your grandmother and she was born in Alabama, then find out like what area, and that will kind of tell you what tribes to be looking for, like what documentation and titles to be looking for. So then you got to go to wherever she was born to get her documentation and look at her birth records and stuff like that, because I know back then sometimes they would even list you guys as mulatto. They would say mulatto, I think it was. We got cattled in with the other people too. So Negro was a title too, but Understand that whole 12 years of slavery story happened several times over. Several times. There were several incidences where free natives were kidnapped. And slavery happened everywhere, guys. So don't be thinking Canada and all of them was all goody two shoes. No, they was all in it. Everybody was in it. Tunica Biloxi tribe, they tend to be darker individuals too. Look, Mr. Marshall and I sat on a board together. Come on now. What he look like? Don't believe the hype. You can go on over there with Dr. Umar, but they gonna kick your ass out and you ain't gonna have nowhere to go. So if you was born in Alabama, and this is really important for you to start doing too, Waylo, right now, because I don't know, they doing some fuck shit in Alabama. Yeah, but that don't mean nothing. That just means that there was some marrying, and the French would obviously, because of that area. It could have been because it was married in, but this is the thing. When they took their roles, if there's any roles or documentation, it's gonna go by they can have it to where the grandmother was married off and then left. Because like in Canada, when my grandmother married, he didn't get registered. She left the reserve. So that's why they go by the maternal roots too, because they know that our mothers were married out. So that don't matter, because you don't know. Yeah, you don't know how you got that Irish. Because of course I know from my maternal side like where the Italian came from, because my grandfather was full-blooded Italian. So I knew where that came from. But Capelin is clearly not a native last name. Not at all. In fact, some of our like older last names in our tribe don't even make sense. Like they're two first names, Peter, Paul. Come on now. So yeah, there'll be a record of her marriage somewhere, and it'll say it. But it's worth a look, like I said. So if your elders are still living, go talk to them. Get as much information as you can. Especially if you're in the Louisiana, Alabama area, because I don't know what they're doing out there, but I can tell you right now, our ancestors is not happy from that area. They watch the weather if y'all don't believe me. Oop, the light dimmed out. That means it's time for me to go. But I'm sorry I was running late. And we'll go over it. I'll share some more. But next Tuesday, I did want to dig deep and talk about activating your light body. Ow. And how does that tie in? Because our indigenous people, when they know who they are, they empower themselves. Let me tell you what, your light body, you gonna need copper everywhere. Whoops.
Psst. Over here.
Uh-oh.
Psst. Over here. Got something you need to hear. It's twisted, you know.
I don't know what I pressed. There we go. My bad. So yeah. So I want to, talk to you guys a little bit about simplifying, cleansing yourself. Because the more you do that, you're really not going to need all of these outlets. Because everything you really question, honestly, guys, is inside here. I've been blessed that, my elders kind of documented everything, and it's kind of fresh for them. But in all honesty, once you get a kind of grasp of who you are, and let me tell you, I can tell my lineage from here to kingdom come from about now. But really, ultimately, it was my mother and my father who raised me, that made a difference. Knowing all the heritage and the coping skills, and being raised by my elders and being taught, how to deal with my spiritual indifference in life, that was a plus. So my part to give back. And so we'll do that next go round. Tuesday, 9 o'clock. I'm going to be on there sharp. I promise. I'm going to get better. Tuesday, 9 p.m. We're going to talk about things that we can do to activate our light bodies. I'll give you some of my culture. Maybe it can help you. Because there's one thing I can tell you. My ancestors and my elders have always taught me everything that I know. But I've always been encouraged to make it my own. So my memoirs and my grandma's is all me. All my books, all my rituals, everything that I do, my spirituality is me. So, one drop a nugget, like I said earlier in my live on Periscope, the way that your mother, your grandmother, and everyone prayed to Jesus, or anyone else, with that faith and knowing that it was going to be taken care of, I want you to emulate that, but I want you to do it for yourself. I want you to know that everything is inside you. Your ancestors are here to ready to tell you the story. They're just ready for you to listen. So we'll get you ready. But until then, I'm going to dip out. I'll be back Tuesday, 9 p.m. And add me everywhere else. You'll find me. Y'all know. I love y'all.